Welcome to you, Don.
Yeah, g'day, Jared. How you going?
Going pretty well. Let's begin with Cameron Swab because Mike put it back on the agenda on Saturday on 3AW, and I'm told you were pretty effusive last night in your support of your CEO.
Yeah, well, this is a bit unusual, but I have to agree with Caro here, and well said, Caro. But look, I can't believe Mike came out with what he did. I think he completely underestimates the role of the CEO. It's a big business. And look, in the last 8 months, Cameron has done some extraordinary stuff. We all know the issues we've faced. He's assisted. He rebuilt the footy department. He helped us get Mitch Clark. He's dealt with pretty serious issues around the club, like the Liam Jar issue, the Mifsud one, lost a sponsor. We've had a president who's died. Now, all of these things have been handled, really, really well with poise, professionalism. I mean, this is a big business. He's running a $40 million business with 50 staff. And Mike's there saying we go to the AFL and get an ambitious kid and chuck him in the role. I mean, I just think that's probably the most naive thing I've heard Mike say in all his time in football.
Well, I've been out of it a while, Don. Maybe I've just...
Yeah, and it's lovely of you to come out of retirement, Mike, and tell us we were pathetic and disgusting. We're pretty happy with that too.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, when you rang me at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, well, I think it was important.
Go on, Nance, you go.
Well, all right. I thought I didn't know I had anything to defend. Don, last night's meeting, do we call it a crisis meeting where you call in supporters and try and appease them? Because obviously there are massive concerns. Is that why you held the talks?
Cara, no doubt some of the papers will again run with something that, we've got a crisis meeting. What that was the first of probably a series of 5 or 6 meetings where, and to be honest, we've done this because we're a little bit tired of all the incorrect information that is put out about our football club, and of course it's very hard for us to get to our members and tell them the right thing. And I don't want to harp on the pathetic and disgusting, but that's what's on the back page of a paper about our footy club, and obviously our supporters read that and we highly object to it. So we've just started a range of meetings with all our key supporters, foundation heroes, coterie groups, to bring them in over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll put me, along with Cameron Schwab, the coach, and Neil Craig in front of them. They can ask us whatever they like, and we'll detail them what our plans are, how we're going about things, and why we think we're on the right path. And that way we know that our key people get the correct information and the facts, and they can do it face to face. And look, if last night was anything to go by, I think it'll be a great thing to do, and we got some great support out of it.
I'm not sure about the terminology disgusting. I'm not sure if they were your words or not, Mike, but surely...
No, they weren't mine.
Pathetic...
That was the headlines, Jared, yep.
Okay, but pathetic is probably close to the mark, 0-8 after 8.5 wins last year.
No, look, what I'm saying is that when somebody puts on the back page of a paper pathetic and disgusting, but that's the only words you could think of. If there was worse, you would have thought of them. Well, you got to understand there's a playing group plus 50 staff, the board, volunteers, a lot of people in our footy club who take that very, very personally because they know the effort's going in. Now, we are in no way dismissing what has happened on the field this year. We are all unhappy about it. We are breaking our necks and working as hard as we can to fix that. These things just inspire you to go in and prove Mike and everyone else wrong that we're actually on the right path. And there's nothing we can do other than keep our head down and follow our plans.
You can't claim the right path. You cannot. I mean, I talk to as many Melbourne supporters as you do. The right path is not where you are at the moment because this is a team that won 8.5 last year and is seen to have gone backwards and backwards to square one.
I understand that, Mike. What we're saying is we have a plan going forward.
Which is what?
All the time. Mike, that's the thing. If you want to come down to the footy club, it's not something you can explain in 2 minutes on a radio interview. This is what I was trying to say to our people last night. The red and blueprint that we have, which is a hard document which you've probably never seen, covers every aspect of our football club and its future development that Cameron has championed. The AFL tells us it's state of the art, and they love the way we're going about our work with our footy club.
Were they angry last night, Don? Were the people angry, and were the questions mainly delivered at Cameron or at the coaches?
No, I would say 5% of questions delivered to Cameron and I, 95% delivered to Mark and Neil about future direction, playing list, what are we doing with certain issues. It was a very open and honest discussion, and I think everyone left there feeling a lot better. And the whole plan, of course, being that those people will tell our other passionate Melbourne supporters about where they think the club's going and hopefully do that with some confidence.
The board of the Melbourne Football Club was targeted yesterday in The Australian. This continued, and you and I have talked about it. The issue you dealt with as Jim was getting sicker and sicker and obviously still president, and decisions were made with emotions, on the side, and maybe sometimes emotions came into the boardroom. Did Jim's illness hold you back at times, and did you make the wrong decisions when Jim was president?
Well, that's a very subjective question. We will never.
Did you read the article I'm talking about?
No, I think I've seen parts of it though. But look, we would never ever use Jim's plight as some excuse for what we were doing. But of course, there are a lot of sensitivities around that situation, and we think we're looking back, we dealt with it as well as we possibly could have. And I think you would all understand that when you're talking about a life and death situation versus a footy club, it's just times you have to get that in perspective. So I would say, of course, it had an effect on some of our decisions and our thinking because it's such a serious issue. And I think that's the best way to leave it.
The quote from Patrick Smith was, in between the initial diagnosis of Jim's death and the club became immobilised.
Well, I mean, that's just a stupid comment. I mean, look, this is what we've got to put up with. I don't think Patrick Smith has ever spoken to anyone within our football club or ever been to one of our venues or ever spoken to me. I've never spoken to him ever. And yet he has this incredible in-depth knowledge of our football club.
He talks to the AFL, Don. Don, he talks to the AFL. So that's the worry, isn't it? That the AFL are maybe getting disenchanted with you as well.
Well, we don't get that message from the AFL. I've met you with Andrew Demetrio. I've spoken to Gillan McLaughlin. We meet with the AFL all the time. The AFL, we've worked hand in hand with the AFL over the last 4 years to rebuild our football club from a financial embarrassment to them to a strong, credible football club. I don't believe the AFL
it's not credible on the field, Don.
And I understand that, but I don't think the AFL is telling Patrick Smith that we are a basket case football club. I just don't believe that.
Are you a basket case on the ground? Tell me how many of the current list will be playing for you when you win a premiership.
Clearly, we have significant issues on the ground. I am not putting my head in the sand about that. And yes, our coaches, our staff around our football department are looking clinically at our list, and we are challenging our list to be whatever they're going to be. And they know that what is happening is absolutely not acceptable. Yes, there are challenges coming up at the end of the year with free agency. We have already made plans and got plans in place to take advantage of that. And of course, we are doing every single thing possible we can to improve our on-field performance.
One final one from you, Caro.
Don, I think it was Mark Jamar was interviewed today. And he was,
I think it was Jared Rivers.
Sorry, Jared Rivers, of course. And he was questioned about the captain and he admitted about Jack Trengove. And he said that Trengove was struggling and they all felt for him and he was struggling on the ground.
Struggling to perform, yeah.
Yep. And, I mean, you must feel for him and that it must break your heart to watch what this kid is going through. He put his hand up last year to stay with the club and sign on and seems to have had leadership thrust upon him at far too young an age.
Yeah, but that's a subjective opinion, and time will tell whether that's correct or not. If you are in and around our football club, Jack Trengove is a leader. He is standing up to the pressure, and he will get through this. It is on-field form is not, but all the things around that he has been outstanding at. So, look, obviously we can't defend that. His form's not very good, so everyone's going to say, oh, it's the captaincy. Well, time will tell.
Don, Tony Talia is about to hit us with the news. A quick one, a one-word answer.
Because this will make news.
Is the Melbourne Football Club interested in Travis Cloak?
We are interested in anybody who is on that free agency list who we think will improve our playing list and give us a chance of winning a premiership in the foreseeable future.
Have you spoken to his father?
Is on our target list. Mike, everybody is on our target list.
On your list, you've got about 15
Where's Tony Tardio, Jerry?
He's coming. There's a final one. The one thing that really worries me, Don, is I don't see anybody re-signing. Now, there might be one in the wings, but the young kids that are recruited to the club, I don't think it'll be the issue of keeping your old blokes. If J-Mo wants to go, well, fair enough, and if Maloney wants to go, fair enough. But if you lose the younger kids, then it's saying something. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more, and we are working on re-signings all the time and speaking with managers, and obviously that is something we have a focus on as well.
But they're not signing, Don.
No, but there's, we're a quarter of the way through the season. We're working on that. We'd expect us to have some signings before the end of the year. As soon as we do, Jared, we'll be letting you know.
Appreciate your time tonight, Don.
Johnny, mate.
Don McLardy, President of the Melbourne Footy Club.